Hey guys, Sam here, and so, have you heard the news? Big Nate is actually getting its own animated series on Nickelodeon. How about that? Yeah, according to BusinessWire.com, it says, Nickelodeon has taken the misadventures of Big Nate from page to screen with an all-new animated TV series based on the best-selling children's books written and drawn by acclaimed author and cartoonist Lincoln Pierce. The eponymous 26-episode series follows Nate, a precocious 11-year-old boy, and his best friends as they navigate 6th grade with humor and style. And according to Ramsey Nato, the executive vice president and the animation production and development at Nickelodeon, Big Nate is a book title I've wanted to translate into a series for a long time. And I am so happy this awesome, super funny character is coming to Nickelodeon. All of creator Lincoln Pierce's slightly unruly but entirely relatable characters share Nick's same creative DNA, and we can't wait for them to join our amazing family. And it turns out that Lincoln Pierce is also going to be brought on board as a creative consultant, too. So, I have two reactions to this. One, I am pretty excited to, see Big Nate finally, get this kind of treatment because, well, it kind of sucks that Tyree and Wimpy Kid actually got the treatment of actually getting their own movies first, the extensive media rather than Big Nate. Because the thing is, Big Nate actually has lasted longer, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid took until, 5 years after the first book came out in order to get its own movie? I mean, that was fast. And honestly, with how the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books are going right now, does anybody still read them? I mean, I'm sure some of you guys still have them in your collection, but does anybody even read the new ones? Because honestly, looking back, they don't really hold up that well. So anyway, yeah. So, I am excited for the Big Nate series, but at the same time, I'm also pretty worried on how it's going to go, because Nickelodeon doesn't exactly have the best reputation when it comes to treating their creators with respect. The creator of Harvey Beaks, C.H. Greenblatt, I think that's his name, Vasquez, the creator of Invader Zim. There's also the way they've been dealing with SpongeBob, Camp Coral with, Steven Hillenburg's creation. There's also the creators of Avatar, how they, screwed around with Korra. So, yeah, not exactly great stories. But maybe it might be a little bit of a different one. I mean, maybe they might actually not, treat this as a cash cow. Because right now, SpongeBob and the Loud House are basically, the big cash cows for Nickelodeon. But at least they actually have, good people. And it seems like there's not really, a whole lot of horrible stuff that's going on behind the scenes. The only real difference between, the stories I already mentioned before and the creator of Loud House is that the creator actually fucked up himself, not Nickelodeon. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm both excited and worried about Big Nate, how it's gonna go, how are they gonna handle the characters, how are they gonna handle the stories, which stories are they gonna do? Are they gonna do the stories that actually have been adapted from the books and the comics, or are they actually just gonna come up with their own stories, stories that you've kind of seen in the Loud House? So a few things that I do wish for this new series to have is, one, try not to be a ripoff of Loud House, because, well, whether you like the Casagrandes or not, it's basically the same show, except it's just a spin-off with a different character. And it's an extended family, except it's only done in the city and it's a Mexican family. So, I mean, you can enjoy it if you want to, but it's still the same plot. And yeah, I just want Big Nate to actually really stand down and not be like the other cartoons. Because Big Nate is a really unique comic strip. It's like if Charlie Brown actually grew a spine and actually, had to have his ego fed to him over and over and over again. And he kept on thinking that he was such a genius even though he really isn't. That's pretty much what the Nate character is. And that's something that I hope that Nickelodeon can actually get down right, because Big Nate, to me, is kind of like a Daffy Duck kind of character. Someone who does very unlikable things, does not really, think ahead with his plans, does, come up with some sort of, money schemes from time to time. Sometimes he can be unpleasant, sometimes he can be a little condescending and all that kind of stuff. But, hey, Daffy Duck over the years has become one of the most beloved characters. And that's because they've actually been able to treat the character really nicely. And even in a Looney Tunes show, yeah, he still kept his egotistical attitude, but there were still bits of likability there, and there were times he could be nice. So I'm hoping that Nate could actually be, written the same way in this show. And another thing I wish is, the characters also, the other characters being incorporated in there, his best friends Francis and Teddy. There's also, other people like Chad and Dee Dee and Jenny and Arter, and of course the teachers like Mr. Galvin, Miss Clark, Mr. Staples, the Principal Nichols, and of course the social studies teacher, Miss Godfrey, or Mrs. Godfrey, whatever you want to do. Mrs. doesn't matter. So yeah, I hope that the show does incorporate them really well, like, maybe it doesn't have to always have episodes centering around Nate. It also could, like, you know, center around somebody else. Like, maybe there's a moment where Chad has to deal with his, like, his grandmother putting him down, you know, because of his weight or something like that. That's happened in the comic strips. They could take a story that actually did come from, like, you know, the books. Like, maybe they could actually take the story from the first book. Like, the entire first book just only, like, it just took a span of one day. And it pretty much was Nate gets a detention in every single class. After he gets himself a fortune, it's like, you will surpass all others. And it turns out that he surpassed all others by getting the most detentions in one day, like something that nobody's ever been able to do before. So he can actually have that as an accomplishment. So yeah, maybe they might actually use that for the pilot. Who knows? So yeah, and also one last thing I do wish for the show to do. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Two things. The other thing is the animation. Like, I hope it actually does get the slapstick from the comic strip, right? Because like I really do love, like, the slapstick in the comic strip and in the books as well. So I'm really curious as to how the animation team in Nickelodeon is going to actually do this. Like, hopefully it will turn out well. And the last one is, I wish they could actually maybe do stories that could probably go in depth with Nate's character. Like, yeah, Nate could still be, like, his egotistical and selfish self, but at the same time, they could still give him some episodes that could also make him relatable, and also maybe they can try some new ideas. Like, in the comic strip and in the books, turns out that Nate has a sister, an older sister, and a dad. There's no mom. Turns out that the mom is not even, like, around. It's a single-parent relationship. And so I'm thinking, like, maybe Nickelodeon can actually really delve into that, because with the Loud House, it's the situation of, like, one brother and 10 sisters, like a big, gigantic family. This time, it's actually just one sibling and just one parent. Like, I don't think I've really seen that a lot in, like, a lot of cartoons, so maybe Nickelodeon can actually do something with this. And maybe they could probably do some very interesting stories. Like, maybe there's a story where, like, his father ends up finding a new love, and Nate doesn't know how to react to it, and it's something that a lot of people who actually have been in single-parent relationships can actually identify with. And maybe there's actually something else they could probably do. Like, there's actually two stories I have in my head. Like, two potential story ideas. One is, well, if you read the comic strips and the books, you know that it takes place when the kids are in 6th grade. But you know how the comic strips go. Like, they usually go through, like, you know, a bunch of stories, like, during the school year. Then, of course, they have their last day of school with prank day. Then it goes into summer, the adventures in summer. Then they go all the way back to school. And it's like they just repeat going to 6th grade over and over and over and over again. So, I have two ideas on how this show, the animated show, could actually handle this. One, they could probably decide that maybe after season 1 or maybe season 2, if it actually does do well, maybe they could actually show what the characters will be like when they actually go into 7th grade. Like, yeah, think about that kind of scenario. We never really seen Nate and the other characters actually really, like, you know, get older or really, like, grow. So I think that would actually be a pretty interesting idea. But if they're not going to do that idea, then another idea that I think they could do is if they start off the school year again, and then one of them realizes, wait a minute, we did 6th grade last year. Why are we doing 6th grade again? Like, I actually had a much better grade than you, Nate. You know, that kind of like, you know, back and forth thing. And then they realize, we're in a time loop. Who's doing this? And then they end up going through this little, like, fourth wall breaking story about, like, trying to figure out what's making them loop over and over and keeps them, like, in 6th grade with the same teachers over and over. Like, I don't know. Maybe they might not try that idea, but if they do, then I think that would probably be very hilarious and also, like, very creative. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got, and I want to know what you guys think. Like, what do you guys personally, like, think of this new series being on Nickelodeon? Do you think it's actually a good idea? Are you actually excited about it? Like, let me know in the comment section below, like, your first reactions of when you heard about it. And if you guys have read the books or actually read the comic strips, then let me know what you personally think about them. And also, if you guys are wondering if I'm doing any more Big Nate comic dubs, yeah, I'm still gonna do some. I mean, like, I obviously have somebody who can do Teddy, and of course I could do Nate and a few other characters, but I do need somebody to do Francis. I mean, I don't know who could really play him, but I think I have someone in mind. We'll see. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, my name is Sam, and good night everybody.